Greetings dear friends, Dragon here once again. If it's your first time stumbling onto my YouTube channel, then do please consider clicking that red button and subscribing if you like what I do. If you're already subscribed or you're already a regular visitor here, then do please consider taking a little look at the Patreon page, which is pretty recently set up and going quite well with loads more exclusive videos and lots of other benefits to come. Okay, about time to do another new arrivals. This is the last one for the month of October, a bit less in than normal because it has been a very expensive few months with big releases and some very big box sets to come in November. So this one a little bit of a smaller selection, but without any more ramblings from me, we shall dive into it. Okay, so first up is an extra set of lobby cards that came from essentially the standalone release of Eureka's Police Story 3, their Supercut Blu-ray, which weirdly weren't included in the 4K box set, which would have been nice. So these extra cards are going to be given away as a Patreon giveaway. The giveaway scheme is meant to start when I hit the £100 a month mark, or the £100 a month goal, but because quite a few people have already signed up and I kind of want to give a little bit of something back, I've been collating a few wee bits and pieces to kind of give away across all tiers. So I'm kind of probably do this in the run up to Christmas. So there's a little bit of Shaw Brothers, a little bit of Hong Kong more recent action, and then a nice Mondo collection of the Rush Hour trilogy. All of these will be up pretty soon. I'll work out how to do the giveaway across on the Patreon page, so do take a little look at that if you have not already. And next up is an old DVD, a second-hand pickup. This is Lau Kar-leung's Drunken Master 3. Really not a great film, but just filling out the gaps in my Lau Kar-leung collection. This is the old Optimum Asia releases that I already had, their release of Drunken Monkey. So yeah, I'm just filling in the gaps. It's a pretty bare bones disc, but it does thankfully have, I think, Cantonese with English subs. It's not an English overdubbed version, but yeah, Andy Lau and Gordon Liu. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen this and wants a review of it, let me know. It's really not a great film, sadly. I slightly prefer Drunken Monkey, but it's nice to kind of have it in the collection. Next one up is an 88 Films release. This is the 7% Solution, so not an East Asian film related at all, but a very good fun movie. Sherlock Holmes meets Sigmund Freud. I did a full unboxing of this already, which is up on the Patreon and will work its way over to here eventually. But glorious cover art by the wonderful Sean Longmore, which is part of the reason why I decided to pick this one up. It hadn't really been on my radar. It wasn't a film that I'd seen, but having watched it, it was a very good fun adventure romp, and Nicole Williamson makes a surprisingly good Holmes. Nicole Williamson you may know if you've seen Excalibur. He played Merlin, but also has Alan Arkin and a pretty wonderful Robert Duvall English accent, sounding very much like an old-timey BBC presenter from the 1950s or 60s. Very good fun. Next up was a bit of a grail for me. This one I've been waiting to try and track down for a long time. This is the Korean movie Veteran in the Digibook release, which I think was for a CJ Entertainment release. Quite hard to get. Occasionally it crops up on Yuki Paulo, but it's usually very expensive. But a very good fun and surprisingly dark in places kind of action cop thriller. Kind of really a classic good v evil story. But really good, incredible performances all round from the main cast, and really stoked to kind of finally pick up the nice digi release of it. Very cool. If you've not seen it, highly recommended. And we have the first of a couple of Chinese animation pickups. This is I Am What I Am. Very wonderful little story, beautifully animated, about a young boy who's desperate to become a lion dancer, and the trials and tribulations that he faces along the way. Really good. I've already done a full unboxing for this, which is up on the regular channel. I will do a full review if anybody wants to see it. Quite hard to track down. This is the Diskino release that we got direct from China. My wife had arranged this. Diskino normally across in the UK you can only really get through group buys. If I can find a better alternative solution than the group buys, because they often get quite expensive, I will absolutely let you know. So kind of keep your eyes peeled in the description box below, and I'll put any other links that I can find as I find them. And sticking with the theme of Chinese animation, this was another bit of a holy grail pickup. This was a second-hand purchase from a good friend of mine, David, and he was willing to let this one go. This is still again another Diskino release, but this is their special edition of Necha, which is the more recently released version. So this is from 2019. I'm going to do a full unboxing for this because there's loads of good stuff inside this box set, but a pretty wonderful piece of modern Chinese animation. Really good fun, not to be confused with the 1979 Necha animation, which is also pretty good fun, but this is a little bit more bombastic and a little bit better animated CG animation as opposed to the original hand-drawn animation from the 1979 version. But yeah, pretty damn cool. Then a quite recent pickup and a custom cover. This is me making my own boxes once again. This is for Tom Ford's directed Nocturnal Animals, and in due course I think I'll probably make this into a 2-disc set with a single man, but I hated the cover that came on this, so kind of made this a little bit more minimalistic. So it's just a wee Tom Ford bag repurposed. Next up came in a deal bundle from Music Magpie, and they quite often do a buy one get 5 or 10% off, and so I filled out some gaps in the old Jackie Chan DVDs, things that I was missing out on at the moment. They're not great versions, but gorgeous I got, so I can do a comparison when 88 Films put out their Blu-ray release in December, and because this has a Jackie Chan commentary on it, which I'm very intrigued to see if it gets ported over. First Strike, and a pretty ropey version of it. It's not the Hong Kong cut, and it's English dubbed. And unfortunately, also the English dubbed version of Twin Dragons that I'm still waiting for a decent Blu-ray release to come out for. But it's a movie that I only had as a digital file, I think, in all 3 of these cases. So when they were about £1.50 each, I think I just decided to kind of get the DVDs, a bit easier than watching them digitally. And lastly is this curiosity, which is actually a PS3 game, which I've got just for the Steelbook. So the game I'm not going to keep a hold of. I think it is actually for the Quantum of Solace game, but any of you who watched my last pickups would have noticed that I got a bundle of stuff through from the wonderful Sean Longmore from his store. I got some of his Bond prints and some of his Bond cards, and this made me realise that I don't actually have physical copies of a couple of Bond movies. I previously had some of the Steelbook releases, but sold them off when they got quite rare and quite expensive. And seeing as I had these beautiful cards for Quantum of Solace and for Casino Royale, I decided I would get a couple of discs on their own. So the plan is to basically make this little steelbook into a home for Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, and then the wonderful cards that I got from Sean can find a place to live, so they will just end up going inside here too, if they will fit. It's quite a big stack of them, so they will end up finding a home in there. And that will be my little Bond collection. And guys, that is it. That is the last of the bits and pieces that I got in for October. We're now into November. Before we know it, Shawscope Volume 2 is going to be here. Chion's Infernal Affairs collection is going to be here, and a load of other goodies still to come in December as well. So do please take a little look at the Patreon page if you've not already. My extremely humble and eternal thanks go out to Kevin Smith, to Johnny Wheats, to Dustin Lewis, to Owen Jones, to Carlos, to Asian Cinema Guy, to Matteo Miskic, to Big Movie Freak, to Andy T, to Andy Dolloway, to Alistair Dyson, and to Bing Bonlaw for already signing up to the Patreon. Loads and loads of different benefits on offer, and like I say, once we hit the £100 a mark goal, there'll be regular giveaways, monthly giveaways for Tier 3, but in the short term I'm going to do some giveaways across all tiers, and there's not a huge amount of subscribers to it so far. I think it's sitting around about the 13 or 14 mark, so you're in a pretty good chance of winning something if you sign up, so do please take a little look if you haven't already. I've been the Fanatical Dragon. Thank you so much for watching this. I will see you on the next one. Take care.